Welcome back to the Shopping Channel and welcome to my favourite part of the week, Wine Time, where I get to talk to a wonderful range of people and we get to meet all sorts of fabulous people involved with the wine industry. And today it's Giles Hine, who is the marketing director of Vintelect. And Giles, I was just trying to think of your title.
That's right.
You haven't been promoted yet, have you?
Unfortunately not.
No, I see the boss sitting in the corner, so that's okay. We'll talk to him later. Okay, so Giles, talk to me a little bit about Vintelect.
Vintelect is all about intelligent wine buying. So the idea is that we get you the best value in the market. So that doesn't mean the cheapest wine, doesn't necessarily mean the most expensive. It just means the best value, really good bang for your buck, if you like.
So by becoming involved with Vintelect, I can get how many sort of wines have you got in your category folders?
Oh, look, we've got over 200 currently, and that's going to grow. The idea behind Vintelect is that it will become the largest marketplace for wines in New Zealand, mainly Kiwi wines, but also some foreigners as well.
And is that across all varietals?
Across all varietals, including some you won't have heard of.
Goodness me. Well, this is going to be really, really interesting. Now, one of the words that I often hear talking about wine, I'm just losing my earpiece, so we'll just poke that back in, is the word terroir, which I understand is spelled Terroir. And I'd really like you to, in layman's terms, just explain that to me.
Terroir is a French word, and in France they're particularly keen on talking about where the wine comes from, as in what soils it's grown on, and how those soils put characteristics into the wine. So the idea is that if it's grown on stony ground, you'll get some mineral effects or flavours in the wine. And if it's grown on loamy wines, then some of that will come through as well. So it's all about characterising where the wines come from, giving them heritage, if you like.
So from my understanding, the stonier and the rockier, and the more the vines get stressed as the roots are growing down, that is actually really helping the wine. Is that right? Absolutely.
The more, within reason, but the more you stress a vine, the more it will partake and display the elements of the ground beneath it. All right? The less you stress it, you tend to get a fairly watery, insipid wine. Some of the best vines are on some of the worst ground you'll ever find.
So this is Osawa wines.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about this. How does this work?
Look, Osawa was a company formed by a Japanese gentleman, a wine lover. His name was Taizo Osawa, or is Taizo Osawa, and he decided that he was going to get himself a really good vineyard. So he flew around America, Australia, and New Zealand, looking at pieces of land, and eventually came to Hawke's Bay, and needless to say, fell in love with Hawke's Bay. He bought 100 acres from Craggy Range, and which is, superb winery in Hawke's Bay.
Well, they've had a long history of wine excellence. So yeah, to buy it from Craggy Range, that would be quite exceptional.
Yep, absolutely. And then he went and found himself the best winemaker he possibly could. At that time, Rod McDonald was winemaker of the year. He'd been winemaker at Wiedel. Who was very successful Hawke's Bay winery.
And he's a man who has a huge international reputation as a great winemaker with very high holistic values.
Absolutely, yeah.
So his culture of viticulture, as it's called, talk to me a little bit about that.
Look, Rod's all about making wines that reflect the region that they're from. And, he's particularly good in Hawke's Bay, but he makes wines from around New Zealand. And, he's just as good a winemaker as there is in his generation, really.
So, and his particular passion is using completely pesticide-free insect controls and things like that, isn't it, over the vines?
Yep.
So this sort of winemaking culture, which is becoming a lot more involved in New Zealand, is something that Mr. Osawa has really embraced?
Yep, it's all about sustainable wine growing is what you're talking about, and it's all about promoting that green image of New Zealand and using that in relation to wine, and as few pesticides as is possible, and as many green winemaking techniques as you possibly can.
So how many vintages has Mr. Osawa produced?
First vintage was 2008, and 2012 is now in the bottle.
So one of the things that I'm really interested in is the difference between Hawke's Bay Pinot Noir, and then we go down to the Queenstown Pinot Noir. How does this work?
Yeah, typically, I mean, look, every wine is different, but typically Otago Pinot Noir is dark, dense, plums, dark fruit, touch of bramble, where Hawke's Bay will slightly be more red berry flavours of the fruit, so you get cherries, red currants, that sort of thing.
So to be a slightly softer wine, would that be a fair
slightly
assumption?
softer, slightly silkier. You know, and that's not meant to be in any way less or you know, better than Otago, just different. And that is terroir. That is the expression of terroir.
Yeah, yeah. So the Hawke's Bay wine, then, this outstanding Flying Mouton New Zealand Hawke's Bay Pinot Noir 2009. Tell me a little bit about this. What's the package that you're doing?
The package that we're doing is that you buy 6 bottles. Normally that would cost you $210, but today it's 120.
What, you mean for the shopping channel?
For the shopping channel,
exclusively, you're going to do me 6 bottles of this 2009 Hawke's Bay Pinot Noir, the Flying Mouton, for 120?
Yep.
That's outstanding. The item number is 102456, and we would guarantee delivery within 72 hours with the $5 handling fee anywhere in New Zealand for that.
Absolutely, we can do that.
So that's... Now, listen, just tell me a little bit about the nose of this, because people talk about the nose of wine, and that is... I'm getting cherries.
Yep, that's what you should get.
I'm getting a marvellous sort of soft, luscious... I want to use the word luscious. Is that acceptable?
Mm-hmm.
And
you can use the word luscious. I'm not going to stop you.
I'm not about you, about the wine.
Oh, OK.
Flying Mouton, that's a French word.
Yeah, Mouton means sheep. And Mr. Osawa, when he came here, look, you know, New Zealand, sheep. Apparently, when he was in Hawke's Bay, he looked up at the clouds. They were white and fluffy, and hence Flying Mouton was born.
That sounds a wonderful story, and it's without doubt a wonderful wine. It has a load of medals.
It does.
It's the Flying Mouton Hawke's Bay 2009 Pinot Noir. Delivery within 72 hours. There's a special shopping channel price of $120 for the 6-pack. The item number that you'll need is 102456, available on the shoppingchannel.co.nz right now. And we just are so excited about this.